What if I told you that if you are a woman who makes your own money, you can actually get more from a provider man? When you're a woman who is running your own business, you have a brilliant job, whatever it may be, you have sufficient funds to be able to finance your life to a high standard. You can automatically demand more from a provider man, or just any man that you decide to continue to pursue. Think about it. A simple dinner, a simple meal at a fancy restaurant is not going to wow you as much as it would wow a woman who has never really been to that fancy restaurant. For you, this fancy restaurant is just a normal Wednesday night with your girlfriends. But how do you communicate that and still stay in your feminine energy and actually see results? Well, the secret lies in mastering the art of feminine language. This language sparks his inner deep masculinity that creates that polarity that you and him so desperately crave and desire. So if you want to know how to do this, then stick around because it's all coming up right now. Hi, welcome back to The Vibration Fall. My name is Alia Zare. I help women all over the world navigate their love life in a more feminine way. So if that sounds like something that you want to do, make sure to subscribe to stick around. Okay, let's begin. So, like I mentioned, the dinner that he takes you on as a date to this fancy restaurant is not going to wow you as much as it would wow a woman who has never been to that fancy restaurant, which means that now he has to work harder to impress you. But how do you communicate that? On the date, you're obviously still very grateful to him. You're still going to say, wow, this is a beautiful restaurant. Thank you so much. How did you know that it's my favorite? I come here all the time with my girlfriends. We love it here. And then to top it off, give him a food recommendation that you just love from the menu. I love the black cod from here. The black cod from here is divine. You have to try it. It's amazing. What the aim is here is to effectively communicate through your stories the level of lifestyle that you have crafted for yourself, the level of a lifestyle that you are used to, the level of a lifestyle that you lead. Now, a lot of people do show this through their social media, and if he is someone who has access to your social media and you are someone who frequently shares where you are traveling and vacationing and where you are going for your meals online, then chances are that he already knows that you are that high value type of person. But there's no harm with reiterating who it is that you are through your stories. Now, somewhere along the date, you need to add in something that looks like this. You know, I've created such an incredible, beautiful life for myself, for a man to impress me, for me to even take a man seriously. He has to be able to do more for me than I can do for myself. Now, subconsciously, he's going to think, yes, I'm up for a challenge. I can do that. I can be that man, because now what's at play is his ego. He doesn't want his ego to be shattered by not being able to live up to your expectation. Remember, he's already taken you on a date. His aim here on this date right now is to impress you. He's willing to do whatever it takes to impress you. Men love a woman where they have to work that little bit harder to get her, because now they are under the impression, under this illusion that they are more of a prize. I should say that their perception is altered and reaffirmed to them that yes, I have made a good decision taking this woman out on a date, and she is in fact the real deal. She is worth the investment into her, that he's about to make into you. Now, as successful women, it's important to celebrate our accomplishments while still staying rooted in our feminine energy. You have to embrace your success confidently in a way that aligns with your feminine grace. So this approach has to enforce the narrative that you are an extremely lucky woman. It enforces the narrative that you are deserving of the best. Let me give you an example. If he says something to you like, wow, you must be a really hard worker, avoid responding in a masculine way, saying something like, yeah, I work really hard. I've put my blood, sweat, and tears into my business. Instead, you would go into your feminine energy and you would say, you know, everything's always come to me very effortlessly. I've just been very, very lucky. Everything always seems to work out for me. By saying this, it's now going to frame you in his eyes as this effortless goddess, someone who naturally receives things in abundance. So now he's going to feel obliged to give you these things that you want in abundance, because he is inclined to believe that the universe and the world is giving you things in abundance. So now he has to match that in order to keep up with you, in order to impress you, in order to woo you, in order to win you over and have the privilege of being your partner. So a practical task for you all is to practice your daily affirmations. Every morning, I want you to spend a few minutes affirming your luck, affirming your success, affirming that everything comes to you in abundance and comes to you effortlessly. So say it out loud. I am effortlessly successful. Good things always come to me in abundance. This will help you internalize and project this belief, making it a natural part of your identity, making it a natural part of your vocabulary. Another thing that I see women do is they talk about money as a currency, when in fact a woman in her feminine energy talks about money as value. When you are discussing finances, when you're discussing money, when you're discussing how much you've made and you want to talk about these achievements and milestones in your life, shift the focus from money as currency to money as value. This subtle change in language will make a huge, massive impact on how you are perceived. Let me give you an example. Instead of saying, I just made 20K last week, which is going to ignite his masculine instinct to compete with you, not to protect and provide for you. You would say, I love how much value I bring to the world, or I love how many people's lives that I've brought value to. So a practical task here is to add value into your other daily conversations that you are having with friends, that you are having with family. Avoid talking about the actual figures you are making. Avoid the numbers. Talk about the value. Remember, a woman in her feminine energy, her value is on who she is as a person. So if you are now the type of person that people are perceiving to be that person that is bringing so much value to the world, you are already richer than the person who is sat there saying, I made 20K last week. Practice it with friends, practice it with family until it becomes second nature. We also obviously have to cover the feminine language that provokes the masculine energy to want to provide. You have to frame your success to invite admiration and support. You want to highlight your strengths whilst also highlighting the value that he brings as a provider. Let me give you an example. You could say, I really admire a man who appreciates all of my strengths, but he also values his role as a provider and takes it very seriously and finds the enjoyment in it. Instead of saying, I don't need anyone's help, I can handle everything on my own. You just zoom out and see how differently you will be perceived if you use option 1 to as if you used option 2. Option 1 is always going to get you further. It's always going to ignite the masculine energy man to want to provide for you because you've shown value to his role. You have not discouraged him. You have given him a role to play in your life. Some more examples of this that you could say are, I really value how you just take care of things. I find it so attractive. Or, I feel so supported when you handle everything for us. It makes me feel safe. It makes me feel secure. This reinforces his role as a provider without diminishing your success. Now, the next thing is very important. It's leveraging the law of assumption. The law of assumption teaches us to embody beliefs that align with our desires. You have to assume and believe that you are deserving of a partner who respects and celebrates all of your success, but also feels fulfilled by providing for you. Let me give you an example. You would say something to him along the lines of, I can tell you're the type of man who takes pride in his role as a provider. Where did you get that from? Did you learn it from your parents? I can just sense and tell that you were raised really, really well. The practical task here to implement is assumptive language. You have to incorporate this into your daily interactions. Assume the best in your partner and reflect it in your words, because when you assume something about him, that is affirming to him that that is how the external world sees him. So now he's going to embody that. That is what his subconscious is told. So you can manifest what you want to see in him by telling him who he is. Like I mentioned earlier in this episode, and if you've watched my channel before, then you know I talk about this a lot. There is so much power in storytelling. Share stories with him that illustrate how well you have always been treated. Tell him about the time you walked into this coffee shop and they made you your vanilla iced latte and just said to you, no worries, it's on the house. These stories paint these high standards and expectations that you are already accustomed to, that help him adjust and adhere to your standard. Practical task here is to make a habit of it. Make a habit of sharing these positive stories about your life, about your experiences, about the treatment that you've received. This can be from previous experiences. It can be a stranger on the street. It could be a neighbor. It could be your friends. It could be your family. It could be anyone, a colleague, anyone. This subconsciously sets the benchmark for how you expect to be treated in this relationship, what you consider to be normal, what you consider to be the bare minimum, because you are already receiving it so effortlessly. Remember, your success is an asset that enhances your desirability and allows you to attract a partner that appreciates and supports your journey and actually wants to add value to it because you said so, because that's the standard, because that is all your version of reality allows. So embrace your feminine energy, believe in your worthiness, believe in your desirability, open your mouth, be confident to ask, change your language, and you will be able to confidently navigate a relationship where both partners in the relationship thrive. So that is a wrap for today's episode. If you enjoyed today's episode, please make sure to hit the thumbs up and please make sure to let me know your thoughts in the comments below. So until next time, mwah, I love you. Bye.